What's up? What's up? Billy Carson here, aka Forbidden Knowledge. Let's see who gets the notifications. Gonna hop on here real quick and talk about the power of the mind and a few other things that are going on. And give you guys some updates real quick. Okay, we got D Fitness 305, CJ Mayer, Japstar. What's going on? Bruce Juice 305. Is that 305 like the area code? 305 as in MIA. What's up, boy? Ken Fly, Steel Burgundy, Yalen Lopez, Yalen. I think that's what it is. Miss Ballard, Sean Shear, JP Young. What's happening? David, what's going on? All right, guys, having a good day. I'm just out here at the beach again doing my walk. I told you I'm pretty consistent. I've been doing these for a very long time. I do these meditation walks. And these meditation walks are really, really important, okay? Because there's something with the walk that activates both hemispheres of the brain, okay? So if you want a way to really be able to activate both hemispheres of your brain, and getting yourself in alignment with what you want to manifest, then exercising both hemispheres of the brain is very, very important, okay? And so somebody said, are we coming to Spain? Yes, we are planning a trip to Spain in 2026. I'll give you some updates soon. So basically, when you're walking, as your left leg moves forward and your left hand moves backward, you activate the right hemisphere of the brain. As your right leg moves forward and your right arm moves backward, you activate the left hemisphere of the brain. Now, what is the importance of this? The importance is when you're activating both hemispheres of the brain in a rhythm, and you're then focused and thinking on something you're believing you're going to bring into your life or manifest, studies show that you're able to achieve it with a much greater level of success. Okay? So this is very important, very, very important, all right? So you need to be able to understand that activating the left hemisphere or right hemisphere of the brain is really, really key to the manifestation process. Where did I learn this from? I learned this from Dr. Daniel Amen. Who is Dr. Daniel Amen? Dr. Daniel Amen is the #1 psychiatrist in the world. All of the CTEs from the NFL are now sent to him. He handles the NHL. He handles professional boxers like Mike Tyson and others. He handles all the A-list celebrities and many, many more. And of course, just regular people just like myself and everyone else on this live. So he's really, really amazing. Thank you for all the great comments, by the way, in the live chat. And so Dr. Daniel Amen, he's really amazing. And I went to him about 3 years ago for a brain injury that I had from a car accident. What's up, Pat? So I was in a car accident, and this was back in 1991. And I was sleeping on the passenger side, completely reclined back on the passenger side of the car. A friend of mine was driving, and he unfortunately, he fell asleep. I mean, his foot was so heavy, it pressed down heavy on the gas. He has a heavy foot, lead foot they call it, and we crashed on the highway. I was ejected through the front windshield of that car. That's why I got this injury over my eye, right here. That's why this eye looks a little strange. Well, it's because this is a reconstructed eyelid. This is called a starburst incision. Went through the front windshield and out the window, and hit the ground, rolled into the embankment. Blood was coming out of my eye. Blood was all over my face. Glass was inside of my eye. They rushed me to the hospital in Plant City, Florida, and treated me there. Got the glass out and everything else. But the force of my brain, of the car moving 75 miles an hour and then coming to an abrupt stop, your brain doesn't come to an abrupt stop, right? Your body doesn't come to an abrupt stop. That's why we need airbags in cars. This is back then before airbags. Or if cars did have airbags, that car didn't have any. This is like, you know, the car was probably a 1988 Toyota Corolla or something. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, in mathematics, we have something called velocity. Okay, velocity. So what is velocity? Have you ever been in a car that's moving at a speed and you have a fly or some kind of bug that came in the car while the car was already moving? And you can see that, you know that the car is doing 40, 50 miles an hour and this fly is flying around the car. We know flies or bugs or gnats can't fly at 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. So how is it possible that this bug is flying around inside of a moving car that's moving at that speed? Well, it did it because the fly or the bug or whatever it is had picked up velocity, V for velocity. As the car was stopped, it got in, and because it sat down or laid its legs down on some part of the vehicle, as the vehicle continued to pick up speed, the actual bug also picked up speed, just like your body. That's why when you get into a car accident, you have to have airbags or you'll die. Why? Because your body is still going to be moving. So my body was moving at 75 miles an hour, something called velocity. So when we hit the wall, my velocity continued on. And then you have something called E equals MC squared. So now we're talking about relativity. We're talking about squaring the impact, the force of energy. All right, so when I hit that window, I went through, but my brain also now had an impact. Why? Because when the body came to an abrupt stop, the brain was still moving. The brain kind of floats a little bit inside of your skull. It's this gelatin-like thing that moves back and forth. It has a little bit of space to move back and forth. My brain crashed into the front of my skull, the frontal lobe. Luckily, I had no frontal lobe damage, but when it rocked back, it created a dimple right in the center of the brain on top. And that brain injury, fortunately for me, didn't have anything to do with speech, memory, cognitive functions, or logic. The only area it did affect was my GPS, my ability to recognize where I am, where I'm going. And so, and because that area of the brain was lacking blood flow, I would forget where I was going. Not forget, but I would get lost. So I couldn't recognize landmarks and things like that for quite some time. So for example, I would get lost in my house. I know that sounds crazy, but it happens so many times. I would get lost in the house, get confused of where I'm at, what room I'm in, and how to get back to another room, where the staircase is located or whatever. Of course, getting in cars and driving, getting lost all the time, which was so frustrating. And it was something about this thing that didn't allow me to use the navigation. I couldn't use the navigation. It wouldn't let me use it. It was so bizarre, the way that your brain really works. And so I remember I started dating Elizabeth back when we first met about 4 years ago, and she noticed that I would be lost all the time or frustrated that I can't figure out where I'm going. If I didn't have a driver with me that day and I'm driving myself, I'd get lost. And she said, you got to get this looked at. And one day we were on a date at the movie theater, and my brain saw a wall as an entranceway to go up the escalator to get to the movie theater, and I walked into a wall. And that's she said, okay, that's it. And she contacted Dr. Daniel Amen. That's how I met him. And I went in for a SPECT scan of my brain. And when he did the scan, he discovered this defect from the car accident. And there, he was able to put me on a regimen of activities that allowed me to activate right hemisphere, left hemisphere, and also generate blood stimulation and blood flow to that area of the brain, as well as taking specific brain supplements that he had me take. And sorry for the noise. Somebody must be drowning somewhere down the beach, or maybe it was an accident. And following his instructions, one of his instructions was also to learn how to play table tennis, but not just casually play table tennis, but to even get an instructor, because playing table tennis will continue to activate those hemispheres and also bring blood flow. I did that. I did basketball, which is my passion. I did all the other physical exercises. I took the brain supplements, and then I went back to him in 10 months. So I knew I was going to do a lot better on the SPECT scan, because I started recognizing that I knew where I was at, where I was going, and that I wasn't getting lost anymore inside the house, and that I can navigate. You know, if I took myself on a trip in my car, I can go somewhere without anybody being with me, and I'll be fine. And so landmarks were more recognizable, and I could finally see the pathway from looking down from, in my conscious mind, looking down on the street grid. I can finally figure out where things were. So I knew I was going to do well. And that second, and this is on a TV show called Scan My Brain, by the way. You can look up Scan My Brain on YouTube. You'll see the results. You can see my actual brain on the screen. A scan of my brain. You'll see it on the screen. So go to YouTube, Dr. Daniel Amen, and look up Scan My Brain. I'm on 2 episodes. The second episode, I go in for the SPECT scan, and he scans my brain, and the dimple that was there, that part that had went into this concave, it was gone, completely gone. And that's when I really understood. I understood the power of right hemisphere, left hemisphere activation. But through the exercises that he put me on, and through my walking exercises, I realized why I was able to manifest so many great things into my life through these walking meditations. They're so powerful because they're activating the left hemisphere and right hemisphere of the brain. And the CIA did a whole study on this. They spent millions of dollars researching something called the Hemi-Sync. And they put people in the Hemi-Sync program and taught them how to activate the left hemisphere and right hemisphere of their brains and then focus on something. They called it a beam of focused concentration. And they actually measured the results. The CIA of the United States did this. Huge project. Look up Hemi-Sync. And you listen to binaural beats and you activate this, you stimulate the hemispheres of the brain, and it gives you the ability to hyper focus on things to bring them to fruition or to be able to accomplish missions. And so that was their purpose for this. And so between learning what I learned and going through the process with Dr. Amen and then researching and reading the declassified CIA documents, it made so much sense to me why I could never stop doing this walking meditation. It's that important to my life. It's part of the reason why I've become so successful, not only in business but also in my relationship. I remember I had been through several bad relationships in my life, and one I stayed in for over 20 years because I didn't want to let my kids down. I wanted to make sure that my kids got raised to the best of my ability, so I stayed. I didn't want to have a broken home and have no father in the home, and so I did my time. I did a 25-year bid. But as soon as I got a chance to, and they all were growing up and doing their thing, I left. I sacrificed some good years of my life. But after that, I got into a couple more toxic relationships, and I started trying to figure out what was it that I was doing wrong to keep putting myself in these situations. And I realized that I'm a giver. And so when a giver meets a taker, they end up in a relationship. When a giver meets a taker, they end up in a relationship. And that was a big awakening for me. That was a big wake-up call for me to realize that I was playing a part in the toxicity that I was engaging in or becoming part of in a quote-unquote relationship because I was manifesting the wrong type of people into my life. After some time, I was finally able to escape the last toxic relationship before I met my wife, and I was walking down this same beach. And I said, I'm so good at manifesting businesses and selling businesses and building money, but I'm not good at manifesting happiness in my own life. I'm not good at manifesting good relationships, right, with the second person. And I said I had to really analyze myself and realize if I can manifest businesses and I can manifest success, why can't I manifest happiness, and why can't I manifest a positive and healthy relationship? So I said, I'm going to use the same recipe I've been using to manifest this life for financial success, and I'm going to apply it to my personal life. And guess what, guys? There's only one recipe, and it works like a charm. It works like an absolute charm. I started using the same techniques I was using for business and success in that category to apply to my life. And I remember walking down this beach, taking away any preconceived ideas of what a future relationship would look like in terms of the person, what the person would look like, what race, what color, what nationality, all of that. I just erased all of that from my mind in terms of having a preconceived idea. I think a lot of people go into relationships with a preconceived idea. This is my type. When they see somebody, oh, that's my type. Well, that type could be Cancer. That type could be an absolute cancer for you. And so and I also said to myself, I don't want to take part in anyone else that's looking to take. No more takers. No more narcissists. I'm declaring all my life, no more relationships with takers and narcissists. That must come to an absolute end. I'm drawing a line in the sand. And now, at this time I was 40. I'm 53 now, so I must have been 47. Yeah, 47. So 47 years old, and I start my beach meditation walk now, not for financial success, but for personal success, to learn how to love myself, to learn how to forgive myself and sit with myself, and also to learn how to find someone in a loving relationship and create a loving relationship and build something with somebody. But with no preconceived ideas of the person's race, color, nationality, and all that kind of stuff. Just making sure that they're not takers, that they're a giver. And during this process, it took about a year of me doing this meditation on this beach. Not hunting, not looking, not trying to, stalk somebody and get with somebody. Just letting everything attract to myself. Just attracting like a magnet. The thing that I learned in that year that I had was to love myself, to be with myself. There's videos of me on my Facebook account that I would post saying I'm taking myself on a date night, and I would take myself on dates. And I'd be out there by myself. I'd be at basketball games, at different events, things that I love to do, walking on the beach or whatever it was. I'd be at a movie by myself. I took myself on another date, just showing people that you can be with yourself and it's okay to be alone. You don't have to always be up under somebody. You don't have to be in somebody's face all the time. It's okay and it's good and healthy to actually be alone sometimes and be with yourself and sit with yourself, right? And so I started taking myself on these dates, and I would post them from time to time, not all the time, from time, just to give people inspiration, like, hey, you can be alone and be okay. You don't have to be up under somebody. One of the things I suffered from was jumping from one relationship to the next, just bouncing around like a ping pong ball inside of an arcade game. And I wanted to put an end to that as well, because it's time to keep growing up here, right? So I did that. A year goes by, and I get a random phone call. Doing this beach meditation, I'm just manifesting. I need look for a giver, attract a giver, bring a giver into my life. That's it. I'm manifesting a giver. No other terms, no other statement was made. Nothing about looks or hair types or body types. Just a giver. Somebody that likes to give, because I'm not a taker. So if I'm a giver and she's a giver, we have a chance. I get a random phone call, and it's Elizabeth on the phone. I don't know who she is. I never met her. She got my number from Donnie Arcade, the music artist, because I guess Donnie Arcade had done some work for them. He had made some music for their company. She was the CEO of a company in Detroit, and she heard I had a TV network through Donnie and wanted to know if I would come up there and film a little mini series about the technology that they had at this facility in Detroit. And so I looked it up and everything else, and I was, oh, this is pretty revolutionary what they're doing up here. I said, yeah, sure, I'll come up there and check this out, and I'll come up and film it. So I flew out to Detroit on my own dime, and Elizabeth and Antonina come to the airport to pick me up. That was her assistant at the time. She now works for us as well. And they picked me up in an SUV, so I don't see them really. I only see their heads. I get in the car, so she's really pretty. Now I had seen her on the Instagram account, so I knew that her face was very attractive to me. But that's all I knew. She had a pretty face. And we're heading out to this facility. We stop at a restaurant to get a quick bite to eat before we start recording for the day. And she climbs down out of the SUV. I said, holy crap, you're tiny. She's like 5 feet tall. For me, I'm 6'4", so that was like, that blew me away, because I didn't think she would be that small, to be honest with you. From the images online always give you a different perspective, so you never know what somebody's going to be. A lot of people, when they meet me, they go, oh my God, you're tall. They thought I was short. So a lot of people think I'm short when I'm actually really, really tall. Well, not really, really tall. For me, I'm just, for a basketball player, I think I'm just a small shooting guard. But for a lot of people, he's like, oh, this guy's really tall, And for me, I saw her, I was like, oh my gosh, she's tiny. And she started laughing. It was a joking thing. We had a really good laugh. And that entire 2 days I was there, I never tried to make a move on her. I thought that she was with the guy that owned the facility because I had always seen a lot of photos of them together. I didn't know that he had somebody else. They were just business partners. And Antonina took me to the airport to head back home. And on the way back, I asked her, what kind of relationship are they in? Because it seems kind of strange that they don't really talk a lot or anything in public. She goes, oh, they're just working together. They're not in a relationship. And so she said, matter of fact, she thinks you're kind of cute or whatever. So I was like, oh, really? So that's when it sparked in my brain, like, oh. So I go back to Florida. Still nothing happens. I didn't have her number yet or anything like that. And then I asked Nina if you could text me her number when I got back home. I said, text me her number. I might give her a call. And then I got the number when I got back to Florida. I still hadn't called her. A week goes by. Now I'm back down in Florida, and I get a phone call a week later. They are in West Palm Beach, which is not too far away from where I was living in Parkland at the time. So, which is like West Fort Lauderdale. So I go, wow, what's going on? What's happening? I was going to give you a call. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. She was like, yeah, we're at this Airbnb in West Palm Beach, and I just giving you a call because I know you live down here, but we're down here, and this Airbnb is busted. They lied on the application. Like the Airbnb had cracked tiles, they had roaches and all kinds of stuff, and they were complaining. They weren't asking me to bail them out or help them. She was just like venting a little bit, like how bad it was, and they were going to try to find another place. And I said, no, don't find another place. Just come stay with me, all you guys, your whole team, because it was a team trip. I said, bring your whole team to my house. I have this big old house, brand new pre-construction home, just built with fully furnished, every bedroom, everything done. I said, just you guys come on down here and we'll have a good time. And they came down, and we spent the next 3 days together, talking, laughing, staying up all night, having great conversations, walking on this exact beach. We came to this exact beach and went for a 5-mile walk to the to the fair of Antonina, because she wasn't ready to walk that far. So she didn't have on the right shoes, and she ended up getting blisters on her feet. We went for a 5-mile walk out here on the same exact beach, the same meditation walk I always do. But now I'm walking with somebody that I've actually attracted into my life without chasing. I didn't chase her. I didn't hunt her down. You know, I didn't. It just literally manifested. And what did I find out through the conversations that we were having? She's a giver. And I was like, wow. So I started dating Elizabeth. At that point, we started dating. We hadn't been separated any time since. Now, it was a long distance relationship initially between here and Florida and Detroit. So I would fly up there and she would fly down here. We'd only be away from each other for maybe a week or two at a time in certain cases, but not that much. And then after a couple of years, we started the grand experiment. Can we live together? So we did the live together for about a year and got engaged, and then eventually, got married. And now we just passed our 1-year wedding anniversary. And one of the things that really sparked with me was when she first met me and she saw what I was doing, she saw the vision that I had. The first thing she asked me within like a week or two of us dating, like, what's your 1 year, 5 year, 10-year goal in your life? Like, what are you looking to accomplish? What do you want to do? And I told her, and she was like, I can see that. I see it. She said, I'm going to come help you. I'm going to work for you for free. I just want to help you out because I see where you need some assistance. I see where you need some organization. You need some teams. I'm going to help you build this thing. I'm not going to ask for any money. And she started working for free just because she had a passion for what I believed in, and she believed in me, and she saw that I was trying to help people and change the world, and she didn't ask for any money. And that's when I knew I had something very special, because not very many people will do that. And when I say she worked, I'm talking about she flat out worked her ass off. So of course I'm not a taker, so I ended up giving her a position and making her a part of the company. She earned it. So you just it's the process, man. It's this process of just attracting and not chasing. But that left hemisphere, right hemisphere, this meditation walk that I do on this beach, some of my greatest things have come out of this walk, including the wife that I have now, who my wife has saved my life twice already. I wouldn't even be on this live right now. I'd be dead already 2 times. She saved my life twice in 4.5 years. She saved me twice. More recently, back in September when I had pneumonia, stage 3 pneumonia, she saved my life. And so she's always got my back. She's ride or die. She's like literally ride or die. And I never thought in a million years that I'd be with an Asian woman that was 5 feet tall and athletic build, you know. But when you take that stuff out of your mind, you take that that preconceived idea of my type out of your consciousness and focus on the core of what a person truly and really is, and just keep manifesting to attract that into your life. Keyword attract, to bring in, not to chase, but to attract like a magnet. That's how I was able to find the wife that I'm with right now. And we're very, very happy. We've gone through a lot in the period of time we've been together. We've proven ourselves to each other a lot. We've fought for one another a lot. And it's a fight. You fight every day. Not with each other, but for each other. That's the key. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to make it to this point in my life where I'm still have enough youth in me and energy in me and vitality in me to be able to start again and build a new life with someone. I didn't completely waste all my good years, thankfully. You know, and I kept myself in pretty decent shape. Even though I went through some ups and downs health-wise, I kept myself in pretty decent shape, which is pretty good. Predominantly, probably these walks helped me a lot. You know, these walks that I've been doing for so long. Walking is amazing. If you can walk at 4 to 4.5 miles an hour for 20 minutes straight, that's the equivalent of doing 1,000 crunches. So these walks are powerful. They really are powerful. And like I said, they've helped me. I've had some of the greatest epiphanies on my walks. The 340 songs that I've produced that are in global production right now, all over the world, I manifested all of those on this beach, walking this beach. All the songs, all the tunes and ideas that I came up with for music and collaborations and everything else. One of those albums, Return to Venky with Donnie Arcade, Cruz, and Jackson Turner, which hit Billboard for 8 weeks in 4 categories in 2018. That album was manifested here on this beach. Okay, a Billboard album was manifested here. I sat on this bench and written songs like Affirmations, which is at, I don't know, 2.4 million streams globally, sitting on this bench right here at the beach. You know, so many projects and ideas and things I've done in business have manifested here. Ideas and things to do for Forbidden Knowledge have come here. Just walking this beach, activating that left hemisphere, right hemisphere. Without knowing it, I was doing the Hemi-Sync, listening to my meditation music in my earbuds and doing the walk and hyper-focused. I was doing the Hemi-Sync without even knowing it. The power of the mind, the power of the mind, you know? So I'm really, really happy that I've made it to this point in my life. And yes, we all have ups and downs. We all have trials and tribulations. We all have road hurdles and speed bumps and get blindsided by things in life. It's actually just normal. So if you're having things happen to you that are out of your control, don't let it depress you. Don't let it frustrate you to the point where you feel like your life is worthless. Okay? Yes, we will get mad. Like recently I had a whole situation and it got me very upset, it got me very angry. But guess what, guys? We easily and very quickly get through that and get over it, and we come back into our alignment, our brain-heart coherence. We shake it off, and we get back to the basics of what really works and what has worked for us for so long, what has worked for you for so long, what has worked for me for so long. We get back to the basics, okay? That's right. Somebody say, put the shock absorbers on. You got that right. Put on them shock absorbers. It's time to take a hit. And let me tell you something. They tried to hit me with their most powerful blow, but they didn't know I was a street gangster from the hood, man. And I've been through way worse than what you could. All this online stuff that people commit suicide over, forget about it. I've been through way worse in real life, in real physical life. So there's nothing you could do to me online that's gonna trump what I've been through in my real physical life. Okay? Imagine just trying to have enough food to survive to the next day. Imagine sleeping on the floor so you don't get hit by bullets. Imagine getting shot and stabbed. Imagine folding over a dinette table and pulling out a butcher knife because your parents went home and somebody's trying to break in the house and you got to protect your siblings. Imagine getting jacked by the crossing guard on the way to school every day. I mean, come on. This online stuff is an absolute joke. I'm a whole different cut. I'm a whole different kind of breed of human being. You know? Imagine taking showers in your backyard with the water hose connected to the neighbor's house because you don't have running water. And your septic tank is full, so you can't flush your toilets in the house, or it fills up inside of your tub with feces and waste. You can't wash your dishes in the sink in the house because the water don't go down. My grandfather came down one time. He was an architect. He tried to build us a temporary drain in the backyard. Even that eventually got clogged and filled and needed to be drained. We didn't have enough money to fix that either. So we'd have to wash our dishes inside of buckets. We called it bucket in, bucket out. And it sucked because it would take you hours to do the dishes. You know? I remember stealing fruits off of trees in the neighborhood just so I could have something to eat in my stomach, or begging the neighbors for food. I mean, you know, many nights eating Cairo syrup and toast instead of having any real meal. It's a wonder I even got to 6'4". I really should have been a runt. I mean, if I would have had nutrition, I might have got to my dream height of 6'6", 6'7". If I had real nutrition, I would have gotten to that size, you know. I got stuck with a size 14 shoe and a 6'4" height, but, you know, it is what it is. But if I had nutrition, I probably would have been huge. It just is what it is. But you know, so this, you know, the point I'm making is you can't allow life's stumbling blocks and blind sides to tear you down to the point where you can't stand back up again. Yeah, you can get hit in the chest and fall down, but you got to get right back up. You got to get right back up. You know what I'm saying? You got to get right back up. And when you get back up, that's when you show your true inner strength. Your true inner strength. And we know as human beings that we have the power to get up. We have the power to do it. And how do we know this? If you're alive right now, hearing my voice, it's an absolute miracle. The human race should have been wiped out many, 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 many times. We are the survivors of so many catastrophes and calamities and diseases. It's a wonder that we're even here. We're the strongest people to ever exist on the planet. See, I see things differently. We're the strongest, not the weakest. Genetically, we're the strongest. We had the Black Plague, which almost wiped out humanity. The bubonic plague, which almost wiped out humanity. We've had the Spanish flu, which almost wiped out humanity. We've had the Papal Inquisitions, where Christians went around the world killing everybody for 700 years, killing and torturing 80 million people. 80 million. We had World War I, World War II. We had the American Holocaust, where unfortunately people from Europe came over to the Americas and killed 111 million indigenous natives. We've been through famines. We've been through the Great Depression. We've been through extreme object poverty. Every single race on the planet has been through racism and slavery. There's not one race on this planet that was never enslaved. Every race has been enslaved at one point in time, most recently being black people. So we've been through all of this, and we're still standing. We're still here. Do we have our problems in the world? Yeah. Do we have issues? Yeah. But we're here. We are the genetics that pass through the gambit to be here. So, you went through all of this to get to this point, not to be able to be a failure, but to be a leader and to be successful in anything that you decide, anything you so choose to be a leader in. It's your birthright to be happy. It's your birthright to be successful. It's your birthright to manifest abundance. But you have to believe that. See, I believe it wholeheartedly. That gives me the strength and the power to keep on going. When something or someone tries to knock me down, I bounce right back up like a Pop-Tart coming up out of the toaster. I pop right back up. Because I know what my birthright is, and I believe in it wholeheartedly. And nothing or no one will rock me from that. No one will steal that from me. I won't allow it. I will not allow it. And you shouldn't allow it either. That's the power of the mind. You have to be mentally strong out here on these streets. I'm fortunate for my upbringing that I had. I'm so glad it was so tough and so hard and that we had to scrape by. I'm so glad because in today's society, if I didn't have that, I don't know what would have happened to me. I probably would just crumble and fall from virtual pressure, not even real pressure, from virtual pressure. But because I've been through so much in my life and so many things that have so many things I've had to overcome. There's an innate strength inside of me that every single one of us has. And every single one of us has the ability to overcome whatever it is. And if we don't clear it up and overcome it in this life, we'll clear it up and overcome it in the next. Because one thing is guaranteed. The only way to fully and truthfully escape 100% of this universal matrix is to pass and transcend to another dimension, which I believe actually happens. So, yeah, it's, this was something I wanted to sit and share with you guys today. While I was just stopped and paused on my walk. Hopefully some of y'all got something out of this and you can apply some of this to your life. Because, for me, there are a few people I was able to conversate with and fall back on from time to time. Not all the time, but from time to time, to gain a glimpse of some of their knowledge and to be able to apply some of those things to my life. And I saw the benefit that it gave me. And so sometimes you just got to say, look, I got to find a way to give back. And if it's just giving out a certain level of inspiration or understanding or perspective on things, then give it out, because some people need to hear it. Not everyone, but there's somebody that needs to hear it. And there's also somebody that will actually implement it. I give out a lot of knowledge every single day. I talk about so many different topics. The range of topics is staggering that my accounts talk about. So you can't put me in a box. You can't put me in a religious box. You can't put me in a science box. You can't put me in a metaphysical box. You can't put me in an inspiration box. You can't put me in an entrepreneur box. There's so many aspects of things that I talk about, so many different genres that I speak to, so many different age groups that I speak to. We put out an enormous amount of content daily. We have 140 social media accounts across all platforms, 140. And we put out content like you wouldn't believe. And so this content, the point I'm making is this content is free. It doesn't cost you any money. But what is this content? It's information. So the information alone will do nothing for you unless you activate it. So you could have listened to this entire talk today and said, wow, that's good information. And you can store it all up in here. But if you don't put any action behind the knowledge, you won't have any power. It won't implement any power in your life. So it's not that knowledge is power, it's the application of knowledge that's power. Can you begin to apply knowledge? When you apply it, then you'll see a result. So that's the formula. Conscious thought multiplied by action equals manifestation. Okay? And so that's what's going on. So anyway, guys, I got to do another, finish up this walk, but I'm promising you, oh, by the way, two things before I go. One thing is, the people that won books last month, the books have been signed. I had to get a new print of them. I wanted to send them a special version of the book. I got them signed, so if you won a book on my live, on IG Live, they're getting shipped Monday. Monday morning, the books will be shipped out, and those people who, if you're on the live now, but you'll get a DM from us as well. But those books have been shipped out. I gave away 5 books, signed autograph books, about a month ago. They are shipping Monday. Okay, so if you were wondering where your free book was, you're getting that. And also, if you were on YouTube and you also answered those questions properly, I think that was 4 that was from YouTube. Those are being shipped as well on Monday. And the new book, the Forbidden Emerald Tablets, the Forbidden Tablets, the 2 tablets that were forbidden to humanity. That information is going to be coming out within another week, very, very soon. Very, very vital information and crucial information in that information day. I want everyone to take a chance to take a look at it and read it. We have the Forbidden Conscious Awards coming up in August. It's going to be the third annual Forbidden Conscious Awards. This year it's going to be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Last 2 years it was in Miami. This year it's in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And we're really excited about it and looking forward to having everyone come down. We had people there from all over the world both years. And we have 15 amazing human beings that we're going to award. And we're going to give them the greatest award of their life and the greatest thanks and appreciation and gratitude of their life for the work they've been doing while they're still alive. Not when they die, but when they're alive. We're going to give them their flowers. So that's coming up very soon as well. I'll be making a lot more announcements about the having y'all help us vote for the winners. We'll have the 15 categories, the five nominees in each category. and you guys will send your votes in for the actual winners of those categories. So you play a part in who actually wins these awards, which is incredible. All right. Anyway, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. But like I said, I was going to say, I am going to hop on later on and do a Q&A for about 30 minutes. Probably later on this afternoon, I'll hop back on and do a Q&A later on. So turn your notifications on. And if you want to be notified by me, I'll drop my phone number here real quick. 888-609-3975. Okay. Just text me there. 888-609-3975. And when I go live, I'll send you a text message, hey, I'm live. And that way you can come right on the live. You'll get a little notification, hey, Billy's live right now. I'm live on YouTube, or I'm live on Instagram, or wherever I'm live, if you want to come back in and ask a question, all right? 888-609-3975. I tried to pin it, but it didn't pin. There it goes. It's pinned now. 888-609-3975. All right, y'all. Hey, I'll catch y'all later. I got to finish up what I'm doing. I love you guys. I appreciate every one of you. Thank you for all the great and positive comments and all the support as well that I've gotten. We've received hundreds of DMs in positivity, thousands of comments in positivity. We've received thousands, literally thousands of emails from people, random emails showing support and love and appreciation. And we really, really, really appreciate all of that. It's time to stop focusing on the negative. It's time to start focusing on the positive. All right. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I will catch y'all later. Peace.